From the Daily Mail, COVID UK : riot police clash with violent anti-lockdown protesters in central London. Central London descended into anarchy as riot police broke up anti-lockdown rallies and arrested violent maskless demonstrators in an aggressive clampdown. Thousands marched through the capital, demonstrating against government coronavirus restrictions. Protesters led by Piers Corbyn chanted "Freedom!" and booed the police as they cracked down on the demo. Grassroots campaigns met in King's Cross Station and marched through Angel to Hyde Park. Public anger with government shutdowns continues to grow as restrictions destroyed jobs and livelihoods. Yeah, they're just destroying our economy. They're self-destructing. Why are they self-destructing? If you've been watching, okay, this is a new, fresh video for most of the people who are going to watch it. We just went through another video about cops busting up a restaurant on horseback, and then I went through and showed you that we're going to have the same death count as in 2018. Here's the projected death count. It's going to be about 538 more people than it was in 2018. And that's because less people are dying from heart disease, because most of the people who die from COVID have heart disease. Go figure. Like, oh, but I thought it was because they were obese. And what happens when you're obese? You get heart disease, right? Right. Everything about this COVID thing just makes you want to strangle the liberals, doesn't it? Don't do that. Don't strangle Fauci. He's a good guy. He might be deep state. I don't know. He seems like a nice guy. But he was in on that Obama administration, Clinton administration, and Bush administration. As far as I'm concerned, Fauci is deep state. Not only that, most of the people who work for the CDC are Democrats, and they hate Donald Trump, and they have been actively working to sabotage the Trump administration from day one. And they're just destroying our economy. And I personally think we're going to have World War III break out here pretty soon. I think it was all planned. It was a pandemic. They wanted to start World War III, and that's because they want to control the world. They're losing whenever they. Okay, so who are the people in World War II selling arms to both sides? Does anybody know that who studies history? Arms dealers. What were they selling? You probably don't know, huh? The sketchiest ones were selling used weapons. They were like the kind of people that would engage in the ivory trade. There was one specific person who engaged in most of the arms dealing, and he was very specifically. Hold on, not most of it. In a large percentage of the arms dealing, sold used weapons, and they were older rifles. And so a lot of people, you got to understand, these military people who manufacture this equipment, they end up with surpluses every once in a while, and they need to get rid of it. So what do you do when you got a big, huge surplus of military stuff and you got a whole bunch of poor people? You give them a bunch of weapons, you have them kill each other, and then they have a massive war, and you profit off of selling arms to both sides. So that's what's going on. We have a bunch of really insanely corrupt Democrats who have a deep state. A deep state, if you're unfamiliar with the term, it's not kooky. It's not crackpot. There's nothing kooky about deep state at all. In the Washington, D.C., most federal employers work in the Washington, D.C. area. That means all around Virginia, Maryland. I think it's just mainly around the coast area. In these areas, the people who live in most of the people who get hired live in the local area. In these local areas, people have families and friends. These families and friends help their friends and their families get jobs at the federal government. When they do this, they create a good old boys network. They have institutionalized anti-racism due to the Civil Rights Act, the ones from the 1800s and then the 1968 Civil Rights Act after Martin Luther King. And this caused institutionalized anti-racism. So they're saying it's systemic racism. They're liars. They don't know what they're talking about. It's institutionalized anti-racism. They're talking about racism all the time because it allows minority groups and women to rise up the social hierarchy above the white males. It's all a scam to control the top of the ivory tower. You have to understand that Democrats are extremely corrupt. They live in big cities. Where's most of the corruption at? Is it out in the countryside? Most of the Republicans live out in the country. Why on earth? Why on earth are the Democrats trying to say that Republicans are racist when most Democrats live in big cities and most Republicans live in rural areas? Right? How is it that Democrats or that Republicans are racist against the minorities in the big cities and they're oppressing the minorities in the big cities when they don't live there? Because it's a scam. It's a scam. They're trying to control the ivory tower. They're trying to fire the white males to replace them with younger, more diverse people, because the people who are trying to rise up to the top of the ivory tower aren't competitive with the white males. Either that, or they are way, like if they're in the case of the Indians and the Asians, they're way smarter. And so when they do that, it allows them to fire the white males so that they can get their jobs. It's all a scam. All these diversity tickets are a scam, dude. It's meant for one thing, to target the white males. Who's doing it? Who's in control of the ivory tower? Asians, immigrants, rich white people. That's who's in control. Asians are the highest paid group of minorities in the country. So who's the next highest paid group of immigrants? Or who is the highest paid? It's Africans. Africans are the highest paid group of immigrants. Supposedly there's systemic racism, but the highest paid minority groups are Asians. The highest paid minority groups are Indians. And the highest paid immigrant groups are Africans. So how is there systemic racism? There's not. It's bullshit. They're liars. There's no systemic racism. No, they come up when they attack white males as racist. It's a scam. And so they got this is all this stuff causes our society to tear apart. So when you constantly attack white privilege, do you really think there's like unlimited white privilege, that there's like some white privilege factory downtown where all the white guys are getting white privilege for free and they won't give any white privilege to the minorities or the women? Do you really think that? No. What happens when you continually attack the white males? They end up on the streets, dude. They end up poor. They end up homeless. They don't got no job no more. You just gave their job away to a minority or a woman on a diversity ticket. Well, it's really frustrating, huh? Like, really? You just gave my job away to a wham-man and a minority on a diversity ticket because you think white males are privileged, racist white males, and you want to have it. You want to it's like they want to have 50% black people, 50% Latinos, 50% women, 50% white males. It's like, and then like 10% white males. It's like, yo, dude, 70% of the country is white, man. That means 35% of the people are going to be white males, man. Women don't want to do the engineering jobs. I'm an engineer. I know how the women act. They don't want to do it. They don't want to get in arguments with people. They're used to getting their way with women, like, people give them their way. Women are agreeable. Women are likable. People want to make the women like them so other women will like them. Women get everything biased towards them. So whenever you put the white male down below the woman on the social hierarchy, the man needs to be able to afford a family. He needs to be able to, women want to date up. They want to date a man with a better job, who's better looking, got better genetics. That's just the way women are. Nothing bad with that. That's like everything good about that, right? But how can you continue to find a better quality male when women make more money than the men? You can't. They don't exist. They're homeless. They're home bums. They don't have enough money to be on your level. They're not your equal because you make too much money. You're too educated. They're not educated enough to be with you. They're not your equal. You're like, wait a minute. I thought this whole feminism thing was about equality. No, it's not. It's not. It's virtue signaling so that the liberals can rise up to the top of the ivory tower. There's no other reason for it other than virtue signaling, move up to the top of the ivory tower. So we've been facing this crisis for a long time because our birth rate is about 1.8 per woman. And in order to keep your family line up, you got to have 2 kids. So if your birth rate's 1.8, that means you're probably going to have 1 kid. Maybe, and then some of the people will have 3 or 4. And when you do that, and your whole family does that, your family dies off. Because there's a man and a woman. You're going to have 2 kids in order to keep your family line up. And then what happens? Your family gets really small. And then what happens? You lose all your family's power because every single person in your family is a 1x chance of succeeding. 1x. 1 person, 1 chance. So if you have a small family, let's say you have 3 people, you have 3 chances. If you have a large family, let's say your family has 20 people in it, you have 20 chances of success. It's statistics. Well, what we've been doing is we've been allowing the women to give up having children so that they could rise up to the top of the ivory tower. And then it kills off your bloodline. It's like, wait a minute. So you're working 12, 16 hours a day on salary. You're not getting paid for the overtime. The corporation doesn't care about you. They'll hire you. They'll replace you with a worker who's more productive and they could pay less in a moment's notice. You're a dollar sign to them. In the end, they're going to use you. They're going to extract all of the money out of you, and then they're going to give you PTSD, and then they're going to leave you as soon as they can, and then force you to rely on government subsidies now after you are now neurotic from doing all the crunching so that you can meet deadlines. And then in the end, your family dies. You're too old to have kids. And then you're sitting there and you're like 35, you're past the wall. Men don't want to date you anymore. They're going for the younger chick who isn't a corporate slave because they want a girlfriend. They don't want a corporate slave who works longer hours than them. I mean, when a woman comes home from work, they need a couple hours off before they're ready to have sex. When a man comes home from work, they're walking through the door with a heart on, man, ready to fuck. Dude, but it doesn't work right when the woman's working extra time because she needs to be with their kids. She's like, oh, it's okay, I'll hire a nanny. It's like, no, you're a bullshit mom. You suck. You're a bullshit mom. You need to be with your kids. You need to educate your kids. If you don't, we're going to end up in a great recession where we got a massive homelessness epidemic. You're going to end up with a pandemic. It's going to start wiping out the homeless, dude. Next thing you know, your husband's dead. Like, oh, I don't care about him. He doesn't make enough money. He's not on my level. He's not my equal. This is why feminism is a cancer that's eating away at our society. It's causing, all this stuff is caused by feminism, man. You allow the women to control the show, dude. They're going to be acting like women. They're going to be nice. They're going to try to be agreeable. They're going to try to help people and be nurturing and loving. What's that going to do? They're not going to help you out, dude. They're going to help out the people who have enough money to be in their group. If you don't have enough money to be on her level, you're not in her group, dude. She can't help you out. It only works when the man, the society worked like normal. When it works like normal, where the women don't have to work as much, then they can focus more on running businesses, and the man can go to work and he can work and get money in the corporate thing, and then the woman can go look for all the good deals. And instead of the man being too tired from working and then being lazy and then spending the money, wasting it, or the woman, it happens with the women too, because you don't have enough time to look for the deals. The woman can go look for the deals on her extra time off from work while she's recovering from her shift because she needs a couple of hours extra off after work before she's ready to have sex. You're like, oh, you're just treating a woman like she's just there for sex. It's like, yo, we're working 12, 16 hours a day. That's the only time we got. You do that, it's like, you don't put that time, your relationship's dead. Your relationship needs to have sex in it. Like, you can't just give up your sex life so that both people can go work in the workplace, and then you have to hire a nanny to make sure that your kid doesn't turn out to be a criminal. This doesn't work because people have like penises, they have vaginas. They're not the same. Like, if you raise a black kid in the house with the white kid, chances are the black kid's probably going to act like the white kid. If a woman's having sex with the dude doggy style, you could actually take the black dude and you can like replace him with the white dude, and she might not even notice, right? They're interchangeable, dude, right? Black dude, white dude, interchangeable, right? Especially if she's blindfolded. She might not even notice. That's why you should subscribe to this channel. But with the man and a woman, if you raise a man in the same house with a woman, the man's probably going to act like a man and the woman's probably going to act like a man because the man has a penis and the woman has a vagina. And because the man has a penis, it means that he needs to get a wife. What does this have to do with this article? So this is what happens when you destroy our economy, when you give women all the money, and then the men have nothing. What you end up with is people who are obsessed with fairness will control the economy, and they'll put lockdowns in because you got women up in these jobs and they care more about fairness. They're trying to help people. They're trying to nurture people. Women suck at confrontations, dude. They suck at it, dude. You know who's really good at dealing with confrontations with people who don't agree with them? Men. Men are really good at it. And when we do that, we don't allow bullshit to happen. We won't just get emotional and then be trying to help somebody out. The men are going to sit there like, okay, well, when the ship goes down, the women and children go first. Ship's going down. All right, the ship's going down. We got to save it. What is the data? And the men are going to look at the data. The women are going to freak out and go try to help everybody. And they're going to waste all their time doing a bunch of little things, trying to help everybody out, trying to be a mom, because that's the way women act. And then the men are going to be more like warriors, and they're going to do the right thing. That is the hard thing to do. But when we got women making more than men, what we're gonna end up in this situation again and again and again and again and again, because I have a penis, she has a vagina, and she's a mom and I'm a dad. Moms don't act the same way dads do. You need the mom and the dad in the house in order to raise the kids, because if you're raised from a single mom, your chance of going to prison goes up 20 times. 20 times, dude. Single moms raise criminals. And whenever you raise a bunch of criminals, what do you got? You got jails with a bunch of people in them. What happens in there? Oh, you got COVID flying around, right? You got people robbing each other, killing each other. And it's because mom thought I didn't actually need to pick a husband that could be the father of my child that I would marry. Instead, she was like, no, I'll just fuck any random dude. If I have a baby, I'll get an abortion. But then she actually finally gets a baby and she realized I don't want to have an abortion. And then she has a kid from like some really sketchy dude or like some deadbeat loser. And then she doesn't want to be with them, so she leaves them. And then what happens? Kid turns into a criminal. And then what happens? Mom turns into a single mom. What does she do? She goes and she works all day. What happens? Then she got to make enough money to pay a nanny to raise a kid. Probably not going to happen. Or she's got to find some other dude to help raise some other dude's kid. And then we end up with a situation where women are working all the time. Then they get all depressed because they're working all the time. They can't find a man because men want to be around women that will be with them. They don't want to have a woman who works like 4 hours more than them each day. And then whenever they get home, they need to take like 2 hours before they're even ready to have sex. And then by the time that happens, you're asleep. It doesn't work. People are dying. And we do need to, the guys need to take over and just run the show, man, because the women are doing a bullshit job. Okay, so if feminism is so good, if feminism is so, the way to go, if it's like the solution and like everything sucks without feminism, why the fuck are there so many homeless people? Why the fuck is there a heroin epidemic? Why is our economy in tatters? Why is the national debt $20 trillion? Has women in the workplace helped, or has women being above men in the workplace, has it helped anybody out? Hasn't helped me out. They gave my job to a minority or a woman on a diversity ticket because I'm a white male. There was too many white males, so they had to replace me with somebody younger, more diverse. And then we get hit by a pandemic, and then it's like, I need to be financially stable. If I'm not financially stable, when we got a pandemic, I'm on the streets. Yes, I tied it together. Yes. Sometimes I go on tangents and I don't tie it together, but I tied it together. Yeah. Thank you for watching this video. Stick around because there's going to be more videos coming up, but don't forget to smash that like button. And if you thought this video sucked, smash that dislike button. Tell me how stupid I am, how much I suck, or how much this video is awesome. And the best way you can help this channel grow is to share this video on social media and to subscribe to RSS Commentary on YouTube. Thank you very much. Stick around for the next video.